Good evening and welcome to Anglia Business. Coming up,
trying to sell a new way to save lives to a sceptical market. And the sweet sound of success from the region's hi-fi industry.
but first, we all know that life's unfair, but the Eastern Counties' largest company aims to do something about it. The electricity regulator Offa is currently reviewing electricity prices. Eastern Electricity, capitalised at £1.5 billion, wants them to take account of the fact that they are already about the cheapest supply company in the country. Electricity in other areas costs up to 15% more.
Not all electricity bills are created equal. And even if Stephen Littlechild does take account of current disparities, there's no certainty its prices will be untouched. They could just be cut a little less savagely than other companies.
Northampton-based Barclaycard have launched 2 new cards aimed at the niche market. Barclaycard Gold is aimed at the confident cardholder, happy to bung everything on plastic. Special privileges include higher credit limits and lower repayment rates. It's available only by invitation to existing Barclaycard holders. At the other end of the spectrum is the no-frills Barclaycard Sense, designed for the cautious card user, with credit limits at a maximum of £500. Scottish hotel and casino group Starkis has bought a hotel in Corby. They paid £6.13 million for the Carlton Manor Hotel and 3.5 acres of grounds. The 104-room hotel is to be renamed the Stackis Corby Hotel. All 70 staff will be kept on. Norfolk Turkey King Bernard Matthews might be adding pigs to his menagerie. He's discussing the takeover of one of Suffolk's biggest employers, pork product supplier Newmarket Foods. The Sainsbury's subsidiary employs 16 people. If the takeover were to go ahead, it would create an Eastern Counties combine with a turnover of £400 million a year and a workforce of 6,500. Ailing Cambridge biotech company Cantab, who were featured on last week's Anglia Business, is restructuring. Around 20 people, representing a quarter of the workforce, are to lose their jobs in the shake-up. The company will concentrate on 3 products currently in development. Cantab hit stormy financial waters earlier this year when their key product, a drug for use in kidney transplants, failed its trials. That caused the share price to more than halve. The restructuring package was not well received on the stock market. The company's value dropped by almost 10% on the news. One of the biggest obstacles facing those at the cutting edge of technology is convincing people that new means better. It's especially hard when a great deal of money and equipment has been invested in more low-tech technology. That's exactly the problem facing the Cambridge biotech company Pafra. Their new technique, called glassification, avoids having to cold store medicines, but they're having a tough time convincing the pharmaceutical companies.
A tree in winter has a problem: how to stop itself literally freezing to death. Freeze-drying pays the salaries now, but a glassification will pay the pension.
Finally, did you realise that the Anglia region is a hi-fi lover's heaven? Huntingdon and Cambridge lie at the heart of the British hi-fi industry, which has carved its own niche at the quality end of the market. In the recent British Hi-Fi Awards, Cambridgeshire companies scooped no less than 7 of the 10 awards on offer. Each company has its own unique selling point and its own way to stay ahead of the rest of the market.
This is about as specialist as hi-fi comes. 95% of these very, very expensive Papworth amps end up overseas, almost all of them in the Far East, where audiophiles are prepared to invest serious money in hi-fi. They're made by an offshoot of the Papworth Trust, set up to employ disabled workers, and they cost up to £7,500 each. Most customers buy a pair.
I think we have the potential in our marketplaces to double and treble the business easily. At the moment, in our major markets, we're not even addressing more than 2 of the major cities in a particular country. So there's plenty of room for expansion of our product market.
While Papworth lure their customers with old-fashioned looks and technology, Quad are trying to stay one step ahead with their revolutionary thinking remote control and 77 range. But being a small company has its limitations.
Because we've only got an R&D team of about 12, which is roughly 10% of the total workforce here, we can't develop 60 models in parallel. We have to do them in series or semi-series parallel. And customers are always saying, well, you know, when's the next model coming out?
Quad is still at the top end of the market, with a complete system costing many thousands. They export 70% of their output. Moving into the mainstream, Arcam vow to take the Japanese on head-to-head. And in the UK market at least, they seem to be winning. Most of their output is sold here, and they produce the UK's top-selling amplifier. They are targeting the rapidly expanding home cinema market to keep ahead of the pack.
The usual static separates market is fairly level. It's arguably declining slightly, and home cinema is a new growth market. There's a lot of interest in it. It's something that people are prepared to spend a lot of money on.
The sheer bulk of the industry giants from the Far East makes it virtually impossible for the UK hi-fi industry to compete globally at the very bottom end of the market. But by marketing themselves on quality and innovation, Cambridgeshire is home to a thriving industry.
And that's it for this week. The high-fidelity sound of Anglia Business will be coming through your television speakers again next Sunday.